Hello, it's good to see you again. This is the Maritime Medical Marijuana Show, and I am your host, Chris.
David.
And Bob.
And we're here bringing you our second episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the first one. And it's being brought to you by Karma Compassion Society. At Karma Compassion, they believe that people who may be treated through the use of cannabis for a number of different conditions should be free to do so without fear of discrimination, persecution, or fear of arrest.
Mm-hmm.
They have patients from Ottawa to Halifax. Having patients, they help people grow, prepare, consume, and manage their medical marijuana. So you've talked to your doctor, and he's agreed to sign your papers so you can get your medical marijuana license. But you've got some questions. Who do you turn to? You can't ask your doctor. He knows nothing. He doesn't even have. He doesn't realize you can eat it.
Yeah.
Okay? He has no useful alternatives to smoking. Okay. But that's not his fault.
He just doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Or
You
she.
could call Health Canada, but they know even less.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we're here. Okay? We're here to help you navigate through the murky swamps of medical marijuana. Before we begin, there's a couple of shout-outs I wanted to shout about. First is Bob of Maritimers Unite for Medical Marijuana. And what they are is they're a group that gets together monthly in Halifax and hoping to meet and effect change in the government's current stance on medical marijuana. They're a fantastic group. They're always looking for new members, and you can feel free to get in contact with them and help support them in putting on such events as the Global Marijuana March or Cannabis Day that just happened. Nice to see you out there. Like to see more people next year. There's also madstories.ca. Okay, it's a site that David put together, and it's a fantastic site. And what it does is, if you're looking for any information that you need or you want to know about getting your license or using medical marijuana, David's kind of gone out, found it all, and put it together in one place for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to his site, you get what you need, and you save yourself a lot of time looking.
Yeah, it's true. I even did a bunch of updates recently. So now there's, some awesome calendars on there.
There's probably some answers there that you didn't even know you had a question for.
There you go. There you go. Now that that's out of the way,
I'm going to
David,
introduce...
what are we going to talk about?
Well, today's main topics is going to be, for one, responsible for your own health, and we're going to relate that to cannabis. The second one, being responsible for your own health, kind of pushes into this one, is how to talk to your doctor. This is for people who maybe haven't gotten their license yet and haven't even approached their doctor yet. Or maybe they have and they've come into problems, but basically one of the things is how to talk to your doctor. We're going to go over. And then finally, we're going to interview me, or these guys are going to interview me. So, on to the first topic, being responsible for your own health.
Now, we have to give you this disclaimer. We are not giving medical or legal advice in any way, shape, or form.
I didn't go to school long enough.
No liability.
No.
No. But, yeah, if you need medical advice, you go to a doctor. If you need legal advice, you go to a lawyer. We're just giving our opinions and telling you what we think and
what we've experienced and
what we've read. And,
Now, in being responsible for your own health, okay, we're talking about there's a couple things that means. What does it mean to be responsible for it? What things are you responsible for?
All right, so meds,
your meds,
food, environment, your physical activity, and your psychological well-being.
Yeah.
So you could be growing your own meds.
Yes.
You grow marijuana, you get to grow your own meds. That's pretty rewarding in and of itself. You don't have to be taking the chemicals that you get at the pharmacy. You know what you put into it. You know what you get out of it. And it's something that you regulate yourself.
Exactly. If you don't feel like trimming and doing the repotting today, you can wait till tomorrow when you feel better. You got to do what you pace yourself.
But even just
keep active.
Even medicating with the cannabis is it's easier to regulate for yourself, the dose that you kind of need once you get going. You don't have
Absolutely.
to worry
Yeah,
about
if you're taking too much and you're taking too much all the time, then maybe you're not being responsible for your own health. Or if you're using strains, just don't know what strains you're taking, well, do a little bit of research, because you can find out that there's a strain out there that's great for you.
The best example I can have of that is nobody goes to the liquor store and walks in and goes, "Give me booze," okay? You go, everybody gets their favorite brand, okay? Why? Because it's what they like, okay? Marijuana should be no different.
Yeah.
There's 2,000 different strains.
Health
Find
Canada
the one.
only has one.
Yeah, Health Canada only has one, but in the real world, there's about 2,000 different strains. So you need to find the one that works for you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of using the different meds that are available, okay?
Yeah.
Now, also, I mean, then you've got food, okay? I find that a lot of people that grow marijuana start to grow other things, okay?
Yeah.
If you didn't grow before, you start growing something, you start growing everything.
It makes you
And
a
it's a
farmer.
whole positive experience.
You turn to tomatoes, and then you're starting to look at you want to grow other things because the stuff at the grocery store's got sprays on it, so you don't want to get stuff with chemicals on it. So
Exactly.
it turns you into somebody that's more aware of their food, and your diet's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think if you're not aware of patterns, you can miss allergies like gluten allergies.
Exactly.
Well, I always
And
felt
one
that.
thing leads into another, and you find out sooner or later that all of these things are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of them are part of you and your everyday life.
If you eat something and it makes you feel sick for 3 days, and you eat it every day, then you're going to feel sick all the time.
Yeah.
Even if you stop for a couple of days and go into something else, you still didn't give it enough time, so you're still sick.
Exactly.
So you don't even, it's hard to notice the pattern. I'm terrible at that. But,
Yeah.
it's something that you need to be aware of.
I found that cannabis might have been the first vegetable I was eating. Even though I became a vegetarian, I was eating literally no, like grains I was eating, yes, eggs and stuff like that, but no actual vegetables. And one of the reasons I think that cannabis was so healthy for me is because it was the only vegetable I was eating.
And do the research yourself. I mean, go online. You can find solid, valid information that shows you, the qualities about cannabis.
And then everything else, read the ingredients.
Exactly.
Okay, cannabis too. Then you want to know what's in it.
You got to know what's going into your body if you're going to do your body any good. That's all part of the health, and that's why you have to talk to your doctor about these things as well.
So, and the other stuff that gets into your body is stuff from just throughout your environment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you happen to garden, okay, whether it be inside or outside, you're outside getting fresh air and you're getting sunlight. If it's indoor, you're downstairs breathing all the oxygen that the plants are kicking out, and you're still picking up UV rays from the HID lights. So you're changing your environment.
Yes, and you want to be focused on a healthy environment for your growing. So
Yeah.
Absolutely, but in your environment, your grow, and your life. Okay, I mean, a good grow, they say, cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay, so if you're somebody that's going to take the time to clean your garden all the time, you're also going to tend to be that somebody's going to take the time to clean your house all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If your garden's clean, how can your house be dirty?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so I mean, you just take care of yourself. Okay, it puts you in a better mood. You just feel better about everything.
Yeah.
Now, being Chris is going to take that or whatever. Being responsible for your own health, you got to be worried about your physical activity about growing too. So, there's the benefits of being physically active growing, and there's also, you got to worry about the negatives, like maybe you shouldn't be lifting a pie if it's too heavy, that kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. You can't overdo it. I mean, you need to make things as comfortable or ergonomic
Yeah.
Exactly.
as you possibly can. I mean, if you're in a wheelchair and you want to garden, it's hard to garden off the floor. So you put some smaller pots and put them on tables, and you work around and you shuffle them around with a stick if you have to.
Mm-hmm.
There's ways to do it. You just got to think about it and work it out.
Like you got to keep in mind now that the average suggested exercise method for a healthy adult, according to the Mayo Clinic, is 30 minutes a day. Now, if you're not up to it, it's just something to strive for. It's not something that you have to beat yourself over.
No, absolutely.
So just
for every little bit that you do, the next time you can do a little bit more.
And if you're going to be doing physical activity in your garden and stuff, maybe you should think about talking to your doctor about what's appropriate for your condition.
Yeah, I mean, and make things easier. If you're going to be on your knees, get yourself some knee pads. If you're going to be hands in the dirt and your hands don't want to get all infected or anything, then wear some gloves. I mean, be prepared. Get the mask so you don't breathe the dust from the soil.
Yeah.
I mean, you need the chemicals that you use when you grow. I mean, some of them aren't safe to be on your skin or be breathing. So just be aware of your environment. And, and like you were saying, the physical activity, I mean, moving helps you feel better. Just like a dog that needs to go poop, and he runs around the yard 15 times to get things going. I mean, you smile every time I give that example, but everybody sees dogs do it.
And it's true.
People do it too.
You need to move to get your motility
mobile. You were talking about, feeling good and stuff, psychological. One of the great benefits of growing for yourself.
I mean, because you sit there, you start with nothing. You start with a seed, and you wind up with a product in absolutely no time. It grows like, what's the word I'm looking for? A weed?
No.
I don't think it grows like a weed. And it's amazing, and it gives you something to be proud of. And as it gets bigger and the better you take care of it, it pays you back. And the amount of medicine that you get, and the same goes into anything else that you're going to grow. If you take good enough care of it, you're going to get more tomatoes or whatever the case.
And this is the major thing, especially for people who have chronic pain or chronic problems. If they see something that shows progress, it's such a morale booster.
Well, because if you're doing things like physio, it seems to take forever to do physio, okay? It takes forever to get the strength back.
Well, growing takes forever too, but seeing just a little sprout, that's something. And then seeing the second leaf or the third leaf or, whatever.
You get growth sometimes between 2 to 6 inches a day, okay? When things are really cooking good, okay? I mean, you can get 2 to 6 inches a day of growth, and that's phenomenal to watch. I mean, it's like I've seen people panic because they don't know what they're going to do with the room because the plant won't stop growing. Okay, so it's it does get exciting.
Times.
Okay, so I mean, all those things are things that you can deal with or you can talk about in regards to growing.
Yes.
Okay? All of them. So I mean, they're things that you can benefit from. So if
you are going to be growing, to sum all this up, be responsible for your own health. Make sure you know what your limits are.
Know what you're putting in your body.
Understand that it's going to be, good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be good.
Yeah. So start now on the next topic is how to talk to your doctor.
Absolutely.
Well, most of the patients that we're relating to might already have a license, but for those, like I said, that haven't gone to get their license yet or speak to their doctor, one of the most important things for your visit is being prepared.
I was prepared because I pre-rolled.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if that's what we mean by for being prepared for the doctor's visit. Like, hey, doc.
I'm prepared right
now. I need this.
Don't expect to get your paper signed under those conditions.
Yes.
I didn't mean to throw you off topic. I'm just saying.
That's all right. It's all right. So, the first thing that you want to do in being prepared is, let the doctor get to know you first. If you're coming in, it's your very first time you ever speak to your doctor. Maybe saying I want to use medical marijuana, they're going to think that maybe you're, just looking for a doctor to
Sure you are.
If they've never talked to anybody else about medical marijuana before, and it's your first visit, and
you don't even explain what your condition is,
it won't go well.
If they've never talked to anybody else, it's probably not going to go really good. So
no.
I'd feel the doctor out first, let him get to know you and understand you first. If it's a doctor you've had for years, I'd recommend telling them that you're using cannabis, telling them how it's worked for you, and tell them that you'd like to get a license so you can be legal and not have to worry about getting arrested for doing it.
Yes.
Now, you got to also keep in mind that these are people too, okay? Doctors are people too. they don't know about this information because they've gone and, they're a doctor. They're working all the time doing this stuff.
And they didn't learn marijuana in school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're not going to know the information. So when they're questioning about it, they're not being a dick. They're not giving you a hard time. They're trying to do what's best for you with the knowledge they have.
And that's why you need to be prepared. Okay, you need
Yes.
to know what your condition is. Okay, if you already know, look it up and see if there's any other cases of how people have used cannabis to treat your condition.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you can take that with you and you can have that ready to pull if you need it.
When you
Right.
go in, if you are, with the doctor for a while now and you're ready to have the conversation, or even if, you want to go in and it is the very first time and, you still want to go in and talk to your doctor, make sure you bring in all the paperwork that the doctor needs to sign, but not all the rest of the paperwork that the doctor doesn't even need to see.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But take the paperwork with you. If he says yes right away, then you might as well be able to just give him
Be
the piece
ready.
of paper and have him
Yep.
sign it.
Now, I'm referring to the Health Canada paperwork that you can find on their site. Search for marijuana with a H instead of a J and Health Canada, and you should be able to find the paperwork pretty easy.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're using the right form, B1 or B2. Okay,
Mhm.
depending on
Yeah.
what your condition is. If you're using the wrong papers, they're going to send them right back. So
And if
B1s are for people with cancer and AIDS
Yeah.
that are terminal, and B2 tend
Well,
to
there's
be more.
there's 5 things:
Yeah.
cancer,
Arthritis.
AIDS, arthritis, spinal cord injury, spinal cord disease, and pretty much terminal illness.
Arthritis is a
Yeah.
B1 now?
yes,
Oh, it's always been.
I did
It's
not.
been for a
Okay,
long time.
cool.
I'm under that, and I'm also under a B2 for other symptoms for other
Okay,
problems.
so, and the B2 is for other things that it could be useful for. Crohn's winds up being a B2 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, anything else
Yeah.
that's not what I just said, or you just to verify for
Go
yourself,
to the
Health
medical
Canada.
marijuana site. They have the list there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just all we're saying is make sure you use the right forms there. So
Exactly.
you can pre-fill them out with everything that's related to your condition, leaving the doctor only needing to sign the piece of paper
Confirm
That's
your
it.
conditions
Yes.
and that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
and picture your photo.
Yes.
Just
What's
sign the
the-
back of your photo.
What is it? What kind of quality?
Passport.
Passport
quality.
quality.
All right.
And the doctor has to sign the back of one of those photos.
So you might as well have one with you. I'm just saying, being prepared.
Yeah.
Why turn it into
Yeah.
2 visits if you don't have to?
Why leave your homework at home when you gotta
If
go?
you've had the same doctor for a long time, okay, and he doesn't already know, he should know if you use medical marijuana, okay?
Yes.
The people that use medical marijuana and that aren't telling their doctor, I've heard of people saying they've cured their cancer, their doctor doesn't understand how it happened, and they did it with the Rick Simpson oil, and
Yeah.
boy, aren't they proud of themselves.
Yeah.
And they're
Well, you're not
chuckling,
doing
okay?
anyone any good.
No, if your doctor knew that worked, okay, maybe they would look better into it, okay? But you denied them the ability to learn through you.
And if you're
Doctor
using
wants facts, so give him facts.
he also wants to, or she wants to know. I think this is a very powerful term out there. The quality of life. So if you're suffering from grave and debilitating illnesses, how does cannabis increase your quality of life? That terminology is pretty powerful. So just let them know that. Tell your doc how it fits into all of your self-management. You're using medical cannabis, but you're also exercising regularly or whatever.
Exactly.
You need to tell your doctor everything, and that's what
And
it's about. If you're
Bring your
eating
loved
herbal
one
stuff,
in with you.
if you're eating vitamin C on the side or iron and something that you
Exactly.
whatever, the doctor needs to know all that stuff. Okay?
medical
People like to
cannabis
keep-
is just
The
one
thing is,
other
you're scared
thing.
about losing
Yeah.
the doctor, okay?
Yeah.
The thing is, if you're not telling the truth, you barely have a doctor, okay?
Exactly.
So there are a lot of
Yeah.
medical clinics around nowadays, okay? And they don't even have to like you; they just have to treat you. So
Exactly.
And Bob was saying, bring someone for support. It can be nerve-wracking going into the doctor's office, and just like anything
sometimes,
nervous.
like me, you're gonna forget stuff.
Mhm.
So have somebody there that's gonna say, "Hey, don't forget about this."
that's why we do more than one person in the show, because I forget stuff all the time, and somebody else will remember.
Yeah, you can write down too the stuff that you need, so that exactly
Yeah.
for that reason. If you don't want to bring someone for support, if you got a list of the topics you want to talk about, it makes things a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, like, you've done all that, okay? You've talked to the doctor.
You were
explained that
prepared.
you want to use it. You were prepared. And
Yeah.
the doctor goes, well, no, I'm totally against it. I don't know anything about marijuana. I don't think it's medicine. I think it's just a drug
scam
for
or
all you
whatever.
people to get
Yeah.
high with. Whatever the doctor wants to think, okay? Like,
It's
what do you do
illegal.
now? It's
Or
illegal.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's illegal. Has
I mean-
nothing to do with anything.
Hey, you
It's
can
a lie.
start. You can
That
start
is
right
illegal.
off by saying that it's been legal for 12 years now.
Mhm.
Okay, there's been a program in effect. Okay, for 12 years, endorsed by Health Canada. Okay, that they should be aware of.
Yeah, the Canadian Medical Association, they are, happy with patients using medical marijuana
No.
for their grave and debilitating
So the
illnesses
doctors have been made aware of it. Okay, they all
They
have.
know.
Okay, now if they choose not to believe because of some preconceived notions,
Mm.
because like we said, they didn't learn about it in the school, so they don't know about it.
Exactly.
So if you can teach them because you use it and it does something good for you, then you're not helping anybody by keeping that information to yourself.
And
Exactly.
and here's things that you can throw at your doctor. Like I said, this Canadian Medical Association,
Yeah,
they're for patients having the ability to use medical cannabis. They're
Yeah.
not so much for the system that's in place because it puts a burden on the doctors because they're in a difficult situation. You can throw into their face the Health Canada information for healthcare professionals. You go to their website and it's got all of the studies and everything that Health Canada felt like it was their responsibility to put on their website. One of the things that doctors say when you go in is, well, smoking's not healthy for you. So,
no, it's not. Setting anything on fire and leaning over it and breathing the smoke is just inherently bad for you.
Yes,
Period.
it is.
Okay. It's an effective way to get the medicine into you, though.
for some people, it's the only appropriate way for them, really.
I tell you
appropriate
right
and
now,
effective.
When with Crohn's, when I feel like I'm sick,
Mhm.
okay, if I eat something, I get sick.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't get sick because I took a puff of something. Okay, I can't get rid of it. It helps me feel better regardless.
Yeah. Now, the Canadian Medical Association, they have a form, and this is part that you might even want to bring up beforehand. It's basically a release from liability, and unlike drugs, I guess, maybe that's the problem they're having. Maybe doctors are afraid of liability concerns of recommending medical cannabis to you, and then maybe you die.
Yeah.
Right? So the Canadian Medical Protective Association, and you can find this link through the Health Canada website where all the forms are as well. There's the release from liability form. If you live in
Yeah.
Quebec, doctors aren't really allowed to sign it there because
Yeah.
the laws of
Their
Quebec
laws
basically
are
say you
quite
can't release liability.
Yeah.
That's one of their things. Going in with medical documents.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and a good place to get that is there's a place called Granny Stormcrow's List. She's on Facebook and she's just on the web. I think it's GrannyStormcrowsList.com or something.
We'll have
You
a link.
can Google it, or you can go it on.
We might even spit it
check
out
it
for
out.
you here in a
Yeah.
second.
One of the problems with Granny Store Chrome's List that most people don't even think about is, or maybe it's not a problem, maybe you just should know about it. Sometimes the thing in there, you should read it because maybe cannabis is in the study that is there isn't the best thing for your condition.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't just. This is the internet, people. You can't just take what you see and spit it out and stick it in somebody's face without having gone over it yourself once anyway.
And if it's
Exactly.
just like a news article or something, you bring that into the doctor's office. The doctor's not going to have much respect for that.
No,
Exactly.
I mean, you want to take the medical studies, okay, done by reputable
Publishers.
publishers.
Like
Exactly.
Canadian Medical Journal, for example, had a study there a while ago for neuropathy, and that's an excellent resource if you have neuropathy. Health Canada, another thing you can spit in their face if they're,
Spit in their
the doctor,
face?
yeah, well, again, this is being responsible for our own health, so if the doctor's being, negative in their reactions, you can say, hey, there's an expert advisory committee at Health Canada. If you have such a problem because you don't know anything about it, why don't you reference that committee? Or there's continuing medical education classes. That's another thing. If your doctor says, I don't know anything about it, Well, there's courses out there that your doctor can take.
Yeah, because my doctor would respond really well for me to tell him he needs to go back to school.
Well,
They
it's
don't like it.
No.
it's one thing for them to not know about medical marijuana, which we don't blame them for, but it's another thing to say, I totally don't want to even learn about it, because you're the patient. This is what you need to know to make a proper medical
Exactly. So
decision.
that's why we're saying if you bring something that's relevant to you, okay, it helps push your case. So you can
Yeah.
explain that this is something that you want to do. You're trying to be
Yeah.
responsible for your own health again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it also would show the doctor that you've actually got up off your ass and looked into it yourself.
And the CME again, they were what did you say they were?
Continuing medical education, I think is the term on them. They can find it on the Canadian Medical Association websites. There's
Okay.
another group. It's a nonprofit group. And I might be saying their name wrong. Canadian Consortium of Investigation into Cannabinoids.
Okay.
They have a couple of classes on their website. They're at McGill University. Mark Ware,
Right.
some of you guys might be familiar with that name. So that's the kind of stuff that medical education the doctors can take part of.
Absolutely.
The next thing that we'll talk about is the drugs that your doctor wants you to take instead of medical marijuana. Are they safe and effective? Is a good question to bring up. Are they even approved for your condition? What's the definition of a drug?
Well,
Yeah.
this is just it. I mean, like, what is it anyway? You were saying that.
Okay, so one of the things that patients need to know is, or can help them with their argument, is the definition of a drug.
The FDA's description of a drug includes any substance or mixture of substances manufactured, sold, or represented for use in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, or prevention of a disease, disorder, or abnormal physical state, or its symptoms in human beings or animals.
Mitigate, verb, to lessen in force or intensity as wrath, grief, harshness or pain, moderate. 2. To make less severe, to mitigate a punishment.
It makes it better.
Yes, makes
Yeah.
it better.
We should also mention that the FDA, when we refer to the FDA, it's not the Food and Drug Administration of the United States, it's Food and Drug Act of Canada. Okay? So just those who might get that mixed up.
So, if a drug is FDA approved, it means that, for example, if I wanted to take a drug that's being prescribed, it's technically approved on the Canadian market for a specific condition or symptom, right? So, for example, if I had cancer, there might be a drug that's specifically approved for cancer. But if I don't have cancer and my doctor is prescribing me that drug, well, it's not made for me. So
No, but it might treat one of your symptoms, okay, and that's why he's prescribing it to you, right?
Yes,
So,
and I'm not against that.
okay, the thing is, you need to know what it was actually for in the first place. You just need to be
Yeah.
aware of the drug that you're taking, basically. You just look into it and see what it's about.
You might
If
want to
there's
contact
there's adverse reaction websites so you can see if the drug that you're taking is or about to take.
And this is
Causes
what we
problems
mean
with
by
people.
being responsible for your own health, because you've got to look into this. Nobody else is going to do this for you.
Yeah. So like the Therapeutic Products Division, it's a division of Health Canada. You can call them and ask them if a drug is approved for your condition, and they'll let you know. It might take them a while to get back to you. But that's
and
it.
you can ask them if pot's approved for your different conditions.
No, not pot, because pot isn't a drug. Under the Therapeutic Products Division, it's not really handled except under the Marijuana Medical Access regulations. Now, we've talked about the definition of a drug, which includes the word mitigate,
Yeah.
and bringing up the regulations. That's why we have medical marijuana. In it is the phrase medical purpose. It's what we're being approved to use medical cannabis for, the law. And in that, the medical purpose, again, this is why I bring up the definition of a drug earlier, is that under medical marijuana, it's approved to mitigate a symptom. So the definition of a drug has the same meaning as the definition of medical marijuana, which is a substance, not a drug.
Medical purpose means the purpose of mitigating a person's Category 1 or 2 symptom identified in an application for an authorization to possess.
And that's an important thing to know. Because, like I say, if a doctor is willing to recommend drugs, it's to mitigate one of your symptoms is one of the purposes, and that's the same thing as cannabis.
Yeah, so I mean, these are things that you just need to be aware of, so the things that you can have prepared and use in whatever response you're going to give to the doctor. They're just, they're not all things, you're not going to use all this, you're just going to pick and choose. These are just things that you should be aware of, reminders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And another note, there
things we hope that will help.
There are approved cannabinoid drugs out there. Like, they are approved as a drug.
Oh,
example,
yeah, because they'll make something that works like it, okay, but they don't want to
They're artificial.
Well, not all of them.
Some of them are derived from it. I mean you got Sativex,
which is
Namalone, you get
Marinol,
and Marinol. I think there's more, but I mean we've made it ourselves in different forms and stuff. But it's just to let people use it in its most natural form is.
Yeah.
That's where the most successes have come from.
Absolutely.
So that's another thing. Like I say, you can throw it back into the doctor's face, like Sativex. It's THC and CBD, as far as I know, right? So if you can grow your own
that wouldn't
THC
do a thing
and CBD,
for me.
Why can't you?
Why can't I just eat that?
Why? Yeah, exactly. So there's also patient kits out there. So beyond what we're giving you here for advice, there's also advice in those kits. MUM has one. Canadian AIDS Society has one.
And there are just some instructions on how to get the doctor to help you fill out the paperwork, or how for you to fill out the paperwork and what to say to the doctor, so he can understand your position and why you want to use marijuana as medicine.
Yeah. And go in with a good attitude.
It's
like a helpful, positive attitude, not a defensive.
It's easy to be down on. It's easy to be down when you're sick all the time.
Exactly.
So just remember that it's take a second, refresh yourself and put on a happy face when you go in.
Take a deep breath and think positive, because that's you got to be positive. If you go in negative, there's going to be problems.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about here is basically your medical decision, okay? I mean, who makes the medical decision? Is it Health Canada? Is it your doctor? Or is it you as the patient?
Some people think that when you send in your Health Canada paperwork, it's Health Canada that decides if you're approved or not. But that's not the case. They're just basically a data entry place. They are not making any medical decision.
No, the decision about what you can do or what you want to do to treat yourself for whatever condition that you might have, that's your decision, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of people have given that decision over the years over their doctor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They've just closed their eyes, and whatever the doctor says is whatever the patient decides to do.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's unfortunate. I mean, it's your right to do.
Yeah.
Or when the doctor says, take this, he's not saying, eat it. He's saying, I recommend that you eat
do
this because I believe that it'll help your condition, okay?
Yeah.
And the benefits outweigh the threats.
Yeah. Now you need to get to ask him right there. What are the threats? I mean, he'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you need to remember to ask him. I mean, normally he just goes, take it. You go, okay.
And with cannabis, if they don't know the effects, if they say, well, cannabis is not an approved drug, and that's what they're looking towards, well, then that's one of the things There's unknown risks to cannabis. When you make the medical decision to use it, you make the decision based on the fact that there's unknown risks.
Exactly.
Just like anything, really.
Yeah. Going to your pharmacist. All right. When you go to pick up anything, you're going to get a large piece of paper. Now, a lot of people throw this away. I can't tell you how many people I know of who I ask them, oh, well, did you know when you take this is one of the side effects? They said no.
Yeah.
Didn't you read the monograph? What's that?
It's
Well, that big sheet of paper that comes with your, it's half the size of the bag that your pharmaceuticals
Yeah.
come in.
Just
Yeah.
keep that.
They say, "Oh no, I
beware
just
of it.
tossed that because I got the receipt." Well, that's how much it costs, but it doesn't tell you what it's going to do to your liver or,
Yeah, you just gotta be aware of that, and don't freak out too bad on all the side effects, but you need to be aware of them because some of them are
Yes.
just generically horrible side effects.
Oh,
okay.
Like eyeballs exploding and things like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, with those kind of things, I guess one of the best. I don't usually talk to the pharmacists, but I guess those are one of the best people to talk to because they can show their risks. Because
They're
if your eyes are going to
open.
explode, but it only happens
Yeah.
to 0.004% of the people,
right.
then maybe it's worth taking the drug because most likely your eyes aren't going to pop out.
Oh, probably not.
Now, I've
but
talked to
if you
pharmacists that-
focus on it, it's going to be something that bothers you.
I've
Yeah.
talked to
Some
pharmacists before, and they were really open. They were really helpful. They were, asking questions, and it's good for them to know. You're helping them out, too. So,
Of course, sometimes even you throw all this stuff back in the doctor's face. That's probably the wrong term to be using. Your doctor might be upset or whatever.
You really try and back up your point.
Be
He still
diplomatic.
doesn't understand.
Yeah.
What do you do then? Okay, you're gonna have to look. There's a good chance you might have to be looking for a new doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are doctors
If that's
listed
the case, there are some lists available. You can get lists of doctors from your emergency clinic for just doctors that are accepting patients.
there. Mm-hmm.
now,
But if you're a medical marijuana patient or a
Looking for
medical
the license.
marijuana to be a medical marijuana patient,
Legal.
then you need to find a list of doctors that are medical marijuana friendly, so to speak.
Exactly.
Okay? And there are a couple of lists available. There's one available on your site, I believe. Is there one on the mom site, I think, or no?
I'm not sure if there's one. on the
Okay,
website.
but there's definitely one on David's site, and there's a couple around. So you can
and
check
also, there's also doctors who will sign for you, but don't want to be known to be on any list.
Yeah.
Okay?
it out.
They're open to it, but only for you because they only know you. They don't want to
If they're
be
a doctor
known.
that wound up on a list or a doctor that's going to charge you. Okay, and I'm
Yes.
talking
Yeah.
between
$150
$300 to
$2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah.
It's bad. I mean, the thing is, I don't even know what else to say. It's extortion.
Yeah. So
Okay, that's all there is to that. I
Yeah.
don't even want to go into it too bad. That's just
Yeah,
extortion.
it's
that is one
Different
of those
show.
things about
Different
the doctor
show.
list.
Yeah. But next, what just wanted to say that Bob's here because David's getting ready to leave us, taking off for a little bit.
I think September the 7th is the date. Actually, I might have it figured out, but I'm not positive yet.
Okay.
That looks like around the date I'll be heading home.
So that being the case, while
Or
David's
actually,
away,
no, the 23rd. There you go.
while David's away, and we hope that he has a good
Is
time.
that for the annual naked bungee jumping? Is that what?
Nobody needs to know that. I don't even.
No.
I don't know.
No.
I'm gonna have nightmares. Thanks. I need to smoke another joint. So that being said, as disturbing as it was, look, you threw me right off topic. Boom. Where David's going away, and we hope we wish him well heading back over to the Rock. Bob's going to fill in his place. Bob, introduce yourself a little bit.
Well, I'm Bob Dillman. Those who are locally known and across the country might know me from LEAP. But I'm here as a patient, and just like you, I'm learning. So I figured this would be a great way to learn and participate at the same time.
All right, now more about me.
Yes.
No, so we're glad to have you around. Okay, but now, like we said, we're talking about David, where he might be taking off here soon.
Yeah.
We said we'd be bringing you some interviews with patients.
Here I am.
And
Yeah.
David's our first patient interview. David, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. I hope you can share with everybody. Basically,
I love to
we
talk.
kind of want to know why you use it. Basically what you have, and how you use cannabis.
Yeah.
If you've got any positives or negatives, okay, and how they've affected your life in ways, whether they be political, legal, or medical.
Okay, so to start off, I guess where everybody would start off is my medical condition. It was diagnosed, and I had scleroderma. Scleroderma basically means hardening of the skin or whatever, and what it is, it's an autoimmune disease, and it's depositing scar tissue all over. Now, because of that, I lose, hunger was a problem. Keeping food down was a problem. Sleeping through the night was a problem because of aches and pains. The list goes on because it's a chronic, systemic thing, right? It's through all of my body. Medical cannabis really helped me start to eat. So that was the biggest thing for me. I lost 70 pounds, went from about 190 to 120. That was really scary for me, and then I started using medical marijuana, and that was back in Newfoundland. I went and tried to speak to my doctors about it. My general practitioner, my specialist, were both like, no, and it wasn't very helpful to me because I needed it for my medical purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And to drive a couple things home, like we were talking about here today, the doctors were recommending things that weren't approved for my condition. As a matter of fact, there is no drugs approved for scleroderma patients.
So they just went, here, try this.
Yeah,
try
so
this.
Yeah. I'm the exact kind of person that qualifies for medical marijuana. It's ridiculous that I'm getting.
There's nothing else they can give you. How can they say that they can't give you marijuana?
Yeah, well, there is stuff that they can give me. It's not scientifically proven to help medical marijuana or to help patients like me with scleroderma. So, they tried to give me methotrexate or cyclophosphamide, and basically these are cancer drugs, and they wanted me to rub it on. It's a topical, so I'm supposed to be rubbing it on my skin to help with the lesions, right?
So basically chemo.
Basically chemo, but I didn't have any skin lesions. So I went in, I was having problems, with and this is the kind of thing that is happening out there to me anyway. I since become very politically involved. Medical marijuana for me is a miracle drug now. Miracle substance. I cannot say how well it works for my scleroderma. It's unbelievable. I think I'm alive today because of it.
Yeah. A lot of us will testify to those
now,
couple of words right there.
Health Canada is getting a lot better, but when I started out, I was having problems, dealing with that medical marijuana access division. Things like they'd send cannabis to the wrong address in my name, and a whole bunch of problems. I hope they have their act cleaned up, and
I'm sure they will very soon. They'll straighten that all right out.
Okay,
it's coming.
So, do you guys have any other questions about maybe how I use it? There you go.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe you can give us a brief explanation as to what scleroderma does to you and how cannabis affects you, so it doesn't, like.
Well, like I said, it keeps me up at night. The scleroderma. I almost feel like I don't have scleroderma anymore. But if I don't take cannabis for say a week and a half, then everything comes back. I eat food. I might have used the word throw up. I don't throw up. What happens is the food kind of just sits there, and that's why I don't want to eat anymore, because I could eat a cracker and it feels like it's right there, and any moment at all I could just go, and it's more like it's like I'm a baby spitting up than it is like I'm a grown man throwing up, and it doesn't matter how much I eat, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I love that.
So I don't have to worry about that anymore because I use medical cannabis.
And I know you don't like to smoke, okay? So how do you take it most frequently?
I most frequently take it eating it. I tend to vaporize it, which maybe isn't still that great for my lungs. I don't really recommend it for scleroderma patients because we do have fibrosis of the lungs.
Yeah.
And any kind of coughing, if that becomes, in my personal experience, that's why I don't like to vape. I like to eat exclusively. That's my favorite way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Is there a particular thing you like to eat the most, though?
I am not particular, so I'll eat it. I've tried it raw. I've tried it in brownies. I've tried it oil. I really like the idea of oil because it's so easy to dose and figure out how much I need to take every day, and you don't have to eat the raw bud, which is very fibrous. And
Right.
and imagine if you had to eat a piece of toast every day all of your life. Eventually, you wouldn't want to eat a piece of toast anymore.
Exactly.
Cannabis is not as delicious as a piece of toast.
You gotta be able to do something else with it. That's for doggone sure.
And there are all kinds of ways to do it.
Personally, I haven't dealt with persecution at all. I know that a lot of patients have trouble with that. For me, the most persecution I got, like I said, was from my doctors in Newfoundland. It was general practitioners, even in Nova Scotia, seem to be negative towards it.
If you're somebody that has a job and you use medical marijuana, sometimes you can have problems there. Your employers or coworkers, okay.
Yeah.
There is an organization, and I was very, very surprised by this, Scleroderma.org.
Yes.
They're a website of scleroderma patients talking about therapies and all that. I went on their website, and I didn't want to cause a ruckus, so I said, I'm in Canada, medical marijuana is legal in Canada, you guys say that you're an international organization, I want to talk about how medical marijuana helps me. And they booted me off of their forums. I'm not allowed to, I can't comment because my email's blocked, and I'm not going to go in and make a fake email and go on and stir up stuff, but there is that discrimination out there for patients.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a shame when it happens, especially in the social groups, because a lot of us become to really rely on the social groups, because when you're stuck at home a lot of people wind up just talking to people on Facebook and MSN and things along those lines. So the fact that
I mean, that's all part of why we're here too, to let other people know that we're out there.
Yeah. So I don't know how much more I can talk about myself. I mean, that might seem like a surprise to you guys. So.
No, that was really good. I wanted to thank you for sharing that. It was informative for some people. The fact that it works for your condition is got to be something that should be beneficial to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, they need to be aware of that. Hopefully now they'll find something like this and be willing to try it. Learn more about this miracle plant. That being said,
let's hit the news.
Let's hit the news.
It's current events.
I gotta stop clapping. I know I'm so huge. This is going to be current events
as of which date?
This here is the 28th, I believe.
Saturday, the 28th of July. Okay.
Imagine.
Wow, this has come together pretty fast, actually. Since the making of the first episode, a week sooner. So let's see what happens here.
Yes.
What did you want to tell us? Something about the BC Compassion Club. What's that?
Yeah, there's a compassion club called the North Island Compassion Club. They've been operating for 7 years in the community, and the RCMP knew that they were there and operating. We're going to put a little video down there you can watch, the owner-operator talking about it, along with, what's the lawyer's name? Kirk Tusal. He's on there. He makes an excellent argument in the YouTube video. And,
Quick shout out to them.
So cookies, oil, all that kind of stuff, they were busted, and they're doing a constitutional challenge, basically saying that the laws are not working because of the fact that the Compassion Club exists. I mean, it's many of you probably watching the show know yourself. You've used the Compassion Club because you couldn't have a doctor sign for you. And what's the other option? You go to somebody who, at the very least is saying they're compassionate, or you go to someone who says, I can give you $15 a gram because that's how much money I want to make because they're selling on the street.
So, and a really good example of that, I'm going to hope we can insert right about here. Boom.
Everybody, thanks for coming out this morning. Today we appeared in Courtenay Provincial Court and filed a notice of constitutional question on behalf of Mr. Jacob, who is charged with violating the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. by providing marijuana for medical purposes to members of the North Island Compassion Club. Mr. Jacob is challenging the constitutionality of the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act and the marijuana medical access regulations promulgated under that act on the basis that that scheme, enacted by the federal government more than 10 years ago, fails to provide lawful, adequate access to both the legal protections of the scheme, in other words, people's ability to become free from criminal prosecution for their medical marijuana use, and because it also fails to provide patients with a safe, effective, and lawful source of cannabis and cannabis-based medical products. This is a federal government program that has been found to be unconstitutional on several occasions in the past, including here in the BC Supreme Court on 2 occasions, and we fully expect to demonstrate to the provincial court here in Courtenay that the system the federal government has set up continues to be ineffective, continues to deny patients the ability to access this safe and effective natural health product, and we hope that a successful result in this case will finally drive home to the Harper Conservative government that Canadians, critically and chronically ill Canadians, deserve safe, unfettered access to medical marijuana to treat their serious symptoms and conditions.
And that was who? That we just
Who was
watched
this?
there? That was Tusaw
Okay.
doing the interview with
You'll
the Compassion Club head,
owner.
Yeah.
owner, and that was his explanation, and I don't think anybody could have said it any better than that.
Absolutely.
Okay, that being said, also want to bring up Terry Wood. He's a member. He's currently looking as a bit of a charter challenge to be able to get access to cannabis while he's in jail. He's in there for the next 90 days, and he wants to be able to use his medicine, which is marijuana. We hope that Terry, you get what you're
Looking for.
you get what you're looking
Yeah.
for. I hope you get your marijuana.
Yeah.
Also, Maritime United for Medical Marijuana is putting together their calendar. What do you got to say about that?
Well, we're looking for, in the MUM calendar, they're looking for advertisers, memorials, testimonies about medical cannabis, as well as pictures. They want to take patients and put them in the calendar with a picture and their testimony. And
if you're a patient, you're eligible to try for it. Just contact Mom.
So if you want to help us, contact advertisers and do all that stuff, then, like Bob said, contact Mom.
Just get on the website. You can join. The membership is, how much? I think it's $5 for a lifetime membership, or $25 and you get a lifetime membership and a T-shirt. So I'd get on that if I were you. Then we got Matt Murnaugh.
Updates?
Yeah, going on. I haven't heard anything new. So we'll jump right on to what I want to say that. Before we hit the Freedom Tour, I do want to say off the top a couple things going on with Rick Simpson. He's actually back in. I was informed that I was incorrect. He's actually now back in Nova Scotia.
All right.
And back in Canada, sorry. And he's just trying to stay out of the way. He's not financially prepared to help anybody, and that's kind of what happens. As soon as he came back, he kind of got swamped. So he's just kind of playing, doing on the down low, trying to stay under the radar and out of harm's way.
He's not trying to provoke trouble.
No, and
we understand
Rick Simpson, we're sorry you didn't get the support that you deserved for everything that you've done for the community.
Absolutely.
Also, besides that, I had also said that there were some family members that were in jail. Apparently, none of his family members are in jail at all.
Right.
And want to apologize for my being inaccurate on that.
Well, that's what we want. Viewers, anytime you see something that we need to be corrected on,
you tell me, and I'll try and make it right.
Yes.
Now back to your Freedom Tour, like you were saying, Neil and his Freedom Tour. What's going on now?
Well, he'll be. What's the date today?
Today is the 28th.
Okay, so he might still be in Victoria. He'll be in Oak Bay for 3 nights. But more appropriate to us, He's agreed to come on to the show. So.
Oh, okay.
one of the-
I know.
now
when
this
when
this
it
is
flows through this way.
yeah, and that's not going to be till October, so it's not going to be for a little while. But
Okay, well we'll have the
But-
dates scroll across
yeah.
here so you can check that out.
We'll have some pumpkin pie waiting for him in October.
That being said, you can check out the website, of course. It's a Facebook thing. Just search for the Freedom Tour,
yeah,
and
you'll find out more information and the calendar that I was talking about on madstories.ca.
you put it
Yeah.
there. Actually, it stuck it on my calendar, so I'm aware that it's there. So I can keep up to date on the things that are going on with the Freedom Tour.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's that. Want to thank you guys for watching our second episode of the Maritime Medical Marijuana Show. And I also want to thank the computer tuner again for the help with the production of the last episode and this one here.
Yeah.
And him making the show possible.
And the Karma Compassion, accepting donations, Cannabis Buyers Club of Canada, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, for John. Yeah, absolutely. If you've got anything, get a hold of us. We're more than happy to collect it up and take that out to John and his wife, and
Yeah.
I'm sure
Who
they
ran-
can need support.
Yeah, who ran the Cannabis Buyers Club?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Um,
He's fallen on hard times, and we wish him well.
Yeah, hope to see you back soon. Other than that, anything else?
I'm awesome.
He's awesome. There you go.
We're all awesome. It's being
All right. Peace, love, and hippie shit.